Hi, everyone. Shayna J here, founder of One Heart Mission. And today I have a very special guest with me, Michele Howe, who is an empowered empath. And I just love that about her. We have done many conversations ourselves, and her main goal is to help people strengthen your heart and empower you to live your very best life. And of course, she can explain it in much more detail than that. So, Michele, thank you for being here and joining me today to talk about mastering the moment. But first, let's talk about, what is it? What is it that you do? How do you help people briefly?
Hmm. Briefly, how is it that I help people? I help truly the empath that knows they're an empath or they've heard about an empath. They've struggled along the way and they've done their own little bit of research and looking at it. They've tried it on their own. And now they're like, you know what? I really want to be with somebody who's more developed, more aware, vibrationally. I can gain insight. So what I do is I go in and I look at any and all of the, whether it's emotions, whatever it is that's interfering with your vibration and you feeling good on a daily basis. And we look at what's behind all of that and we steadily clear it. I mean, it's really an energy to energy kind of a thing. And then there's a little bit of effort that needs to come into play. Consciously, you need to step into what this is. So, I'm a healer. I've gotten lots of certifications in healing. I've got lots of knowledge in metaphysical. I've got lots of just business savvy and my own awareness of people, what we hide, what we mask, what's really true, what our heart is saying. So the empath side of me allows me to tune in, and I've fine tuned that. So my goal is to help that person fine tune their own empathic gifts, their own trust in their own journey. Like releasing things feels like a miracle
Yeah,
when you actually experience that. And the more you step into it, the more you will release.
yeah,
So then it becomes like a lot of the empaths are like, yes, I'm all for this. Let's get rid of anything and everything that's mucking up my system energetically. And how does that, how do you know that's happening? You're frustrated, you're annoyed, you're down, you're, there's something more, there's something is out there for you to step into.
yes.
So
So you,
those are the people.
yeah, it sounds like what you're saying, you really help clear the way so when they see who they are, they can say yes because they have the inner strength to actually step into it.
I clear the field with them. They're doing it. It's almost like empaths are tuning forks. I
Yeah,
can They're attuning to what I'm bringing to them, and I'm awakening a whole heck of a lot more that they didn't think about.
yeah, yeah. That's exciting.
Oh, it's exciting for them because now they step into something totally, wow, I can do this. Wow, this is here. Wow, I finally get this. So
Yeah.
um, it's exciting. It's
It
exciting.
is exciting. It's kind of like recognizing your own power. And that's why I chose the word empowered empath for you, because that is how you come across for me. That's that's the way, you set up what you're doing with people as an empowered individual and showing them how to access their own empowerment, which is owning your own power. It's just beautiful. That's beautiful. So that it works, it dovetails very nicely into living in the moment, being present, mastering the moment. And so what challenges do you see with your clients and the people you work with and maybe even in your own life? What do you see happens in the challenge area?
It all depends on the individual as far as where they're getting hung up. some of us are very much the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. The mind gets, you know, I want to avoid as much discomfort as I can, every which way that I can. Let me plan this out to the nth degree. Let me, and when they feel a wound or they feel pain or they're aware of pain in others, it stops them in their tracks and they don't necessarily know how to process it or allow that to be without trying to fix it.
Yes. And more mind. Yeah.
Yes. So my mind is going to fix it. My mind, and then, becomes like a whirlwind of stories, a whirlwind of ideas, a whirlwind of this person that. Like we just create these narratives that, they help to some degree, and then there are narratives that totally throw you under the bus. I mean, one of my clients, and I have my clients do writing, because what I do is I see the stories, and then when I read the writing, I'm tuning into where and where is this out of whack? Where is it sticking? Where is there a misperception or a distortion in what they're thinking and in their analysis of the situation? So one of them said to me, I am in a battle with depression and anxiety.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And this is a highly intelligent woman, highly creative, suffered some tragedies early on in her life, and has seen herself struggle, not knowing. She went traditional route therapy, not knowing how to change her own mind, change her feelings, or it's like an overwhelm of, I'm in this and this is not feeling good for me, and none of your answers are really settling in and making a difference.
Wow.
So she stepped into the empath side of it. And because she's such a feeler naturally and she's so open, hello, we're going to shift some of these thoughts. We're going to shift the energies that are there. And whatever misconceptions are part of the scene, they're going to naturally fall away, because we're going to fast forward, or we're going to spotlight the good stuff.
Ab-
Spotlight the stuff you haven't been noticing all this time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, yeah. That's
Wow. So you're saying, so this one person was going to therapy and was just going around and round and not getting the answers. And how, so she chose a different path and that's how she found you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she opened up her own view of things. And how would you say that that relates to living in the moment and really mastering it?
Well, really, that's a great topic, because living in the moment is the key for all of us. Moments are are you know, you can kind of look at life as big blocks of moments or days, but when you're really in the moment, you're saying, okay, everything is actually okay. And if you're aware of that moment, you can deep breathe through it and just kind of center yourself and calm yourself down. The
Yeah,
problem people have is when they start, and then this, and then this, and then that, and then what's going to happen then next. And then it's like this uh, constant echo in your head
yeah,
of information overload.
yeah,
Um, I think people in general, empath or no empath, I think everyone's empathic to a degree. Um, we like the drama. We like the it's almost like a soap opera sometimes. Well, then this, and then this, and then that.
right,
So
right. The great story.
the great
Yeah,
storytellers that we are,
yeah,
there's a positive storyline, there's an uplifting one, and then there's one that just swirls a bunch of chaos
yeah,
everywhere within you and around you.
yeah.
So.
So you're saying it sounds like one of the biggest challenges is diverting to the mind again, and that takes you out of the moment.
I would say the mind takes you out of the moment, and the emotional experiences that come our way and our fear of what those are and feeling out of control, not being able to truly balance ourselves.
Right.
When we're out of balance, we show up um, too busy, too tired, too there's out of balance. You're not settled. It's not realistic. It's not, you're trying to accomplish something you cannot possibly accomplish in this set amount of time.
Yeah. Like
So you're
overscheduling yourself.
overstimulation, and if you look at society, a lot of us are multitasking, right?
Yeah.
Naturally, because we feel we can do that, right?
Right. I find that's one of the biggest challenges in staying in the moment. Multitasking is not moment to moment. It's this, then that. It's just constant distraction.
It's a little chaotic multitasking. And it
Okay.
really does take reeling yourself in to see what is possible, what is fair, what is empowering for me to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're like the Energizer Bunny, someone turned us on high and said, okay, go
Yeah.
have fun.
Go. Yeah. Yeah. It's chaotic and it's all overwhelming, overstimulating. And that's the shift I think that we're going into or becoming more aware that we're going into. I think we've always been evolving around it. You even use the word evolution in your foundation. And I love that word because it really speaks of the movement of life and how the movement is so important. So when you slow down, at first it seems like, no way, I can't slow down. I got too much going on and I've got to get it all done and deadlines and people and children and work, all the things. But then at the same time, when you do, one of my teachers said in the early days, the slower you go, the faster you get there. And I found that to be so
Wisdom.
true. Yes. And at first it was like, no way, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't know who this teacher is, so I'm not gonna go there. But you know what? It stuck with me. It stuck with me through the years as I've grown and evolved and learned more and practiced life for the goal that where I wanted to be. And I found that the slower I went, the faster I got there and the more I got done. And my days got condensed where I used to work 16 hours as an entrepreneur. I only work 4 hours a day now. And it's just, I get everything that I need to do done. It's amazing. But the mindset doesn't support that.
Well, there's all kinds of mindsets out there. What we value, what we want to do, what's important to us. Um, Going slower allows us to appreciate what's around us,
Yeah.
moments, and I can. It brings me back to when my kids. I have three children. Two of them graduated from high school. The third is graduating this year. And when the
Congratulations.
first one went through this, it started like in February. I started tearing up, tearing up, tearing up. Like how is this possible? Michelle Howe says, how is this possible that my
I just
child
gave birth to
is
you.
is 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 leaving, right? They're leaving. Like I'm like, how is it possible? He was just a little boy and now he's this big. Like how did that happen? So, you know, especially as mothers, I'm like, what did I miss? What didn't I miss? We can tend to be hard on ourselves,
Yeah.
or but throughout, you see how fast a year goes by,
Oh, geez, yeah.
and the kids are changing so dramatically every year, and they're stepping up for the next level. So it's very easy. I want to say, see a little tear. It's very easy to, if you're caught up and you have responsibilities and you have things that you're doing, your children are growing too. And maybe you'll have an hour with them, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours a day
Right.
that you're really focusing on talking to them and taking care of them, because the way of life is so active,
It's so
right?
active. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then even if they weren't doing anything, they were pursuing their own interest. Like, we'll talk to mom a little bit, but when we got this going on,
Right.
that going
Right.
on. So
Right.
it's those moments are more precious now than they ever were at the time.
That's
Like,
right.
if I look back at photo albums, or we have like a little in our kitchen, we have the running memories over the last 20 years running. And I'll see this day and time 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And I'll just be like, that was such a precious time. Like,
Absolutely. Do you ever have the thought, what did I miss? Did I really take it all in? That's what I have
well,
done. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Really count.
Because in your present moments, I can remember, much to my disbelief, or as my human self, the critic in me at the time of a picture was taken, the critic in me saw this wrong, and this wrong.
Yeah.
The me of today sees this amazing woman and this amazing time. But when I was in those times, there was
You didn't
in the
acknowledge
background a lot
that.
going on.
Yes. Yep. It's very
So
hard to focus on yourself when all of that's going on. But and also very hard to focus on just the moment. And though but true, Michelle, I will also want to give credence to the evolution that we are in because just in the last 10 years, certainly in the last 20, but I'll just say the last 10 years, we've grown so much as a society. The consciousness has grown, has expanded. People are much more aware. And so I liken that energetically to the density of the time that we lived in 10 years and 20 years ago. And it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So the more light we have around us, other people waking up and having more elevated conversations with each other, the more we can slow down to a pace that is appropriate to our growth now than our density was then,
yes.
because having things so compacted and dense was just like there was no room to add one more thing in there.
Well, I think you have to get to that point. I think there's plenty of people that are today where you were 10 years ago or 15 years.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And
So
vice versa. There were many more ahead of me 10 years ago too. So, and everything in between. Yeah. I do feel like there are more people though that are carrying more wisdom now than ever before.
absolutely.
And also, wouldn't you say that they're more willing to learn fast, willing to learn, and the way they learn just like it's faster.
Um, I'd say the topic has become more acceptable.
Uh-huh.
I think that in total, the energies around us, collective consciousness, the more of us become more aware, the more holistic concepts come to the table, the more here's your energy body, here's your intuition, here are your emotions.
Yeah.
Like, those are topics that I don't know in the 50s or 60s if anybody
No,
spotlighted those ideas
I
at
don't.
all. They were spotlighting, how to, how to be a housewife, or how to do this, or it's just, we have totally moved forward the definition and the potential of who we are and what's possible in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like it's speeding up. So, but even though the energy may be speeding up because it's lighter, it has, less density, this in my terms, in it, then the collective is more open.
The
So the
collective,
challenges, the opportunity to stay in the moment, it's like it actually drops in. Wait, what just happened? You hear people say that, what just happened? Or that happened, like they really got it in the moment. They got what happened.
yeah. It's it's like nobody pointed the finger or brought your attention to something. And the more of us that bring attention to things that have been ignored or unrecognized, the
Yeah,
more people are going to be like, oh my God, that is so true. You
yeah,
know, in the same token, I would dare say that a lot of people with these, I say, newer, lighter, faster energies are going to be uncomfortable because it's causing them to change. They're questioning more, they're
yeah,
looking more, they
yeah,
might feel more of it might be such a contrast to what they're holding that they might react emotionally
yeah,
to what's happening. And those are all the emotional triggers, the
yeah.
depression, the anxiety. A lot of people are experiencing that. Those are almost, I would say, awakening symptoms. Like
And
you, yeah,
yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. In fact, I think your work is so powerful because you're available to those people that are having that experience, and that brings them into the moment. So, what happened? What do you feel? What's going on for you? Explain it, and then we'll clear it.
yeah, it's
Uh,
that inquiry piece, it's that introspective piece,
yeah,
it's that you matter, and it's not just the outside that matters.
yeah,
It's not just the masks that you wear, it's the inside that matters.
yeah.
Without, some people are not emotionally oriented per se, they're more logical. There's still an inside
That's
to
right.
everybody.
Yeah,
And just because, I might be a public figure, I might not be comfortable sharing the inside parts of me with others. They're very well hidden. Doesn't mean they don't exist.
yeah, exactly. And they kind of show too. You
If you
know,
tune into who people are,
yeah,
you will know what they're hiding to a degree.
yeah,
You can, right? And then if you go further, it could be actually very invasive for anyone to go further into it. But yeah, it's part of the equation.
yeah. And empaths are really good at that, especially after they work with you.
Well, knowing where, so empaths have the habit of tuning into everything and anybody around them. And sometimes if they're not aware, they will absorb, they will be invasive, they will tell people how they feel when those people don't even know how they feel.
Yeah,
Like, so it becomes like, here's a mirror, I'm putting it, and it becomes somewhat presumptuous to do that. I at one point, interestingly enough, there was a yoga studio I went to, and they had some classes, they had gong sessions. Love it, I love all those topics, right?
right.
So we were leaving, and was talking to the owner, and I mentioned empath evolution, and she looked at me and she goes, empaths. She's shaking her head. Empaths. I'm like, what is it a bad word? She was not thrilled with the word. You could tell she had had a really bad experience with someone.
Oh, oh, wow.
So, boundaries is what an empath needs to know what's for her and what is her. But
Yeah.
then again, it's also, there are people that can cross boundaries, other people's boundaries. When
Uh-huh.
you can tune into someone's emotions, and then if you could use it against them, which there's a manipulative side to some people,
Uh-huh.
um, I can see, an unregulated and unempowered empath could technically, who has a lot of ego, who has a lot of something to prove, could use that gift in a negative way towards another person.
Oh,
And another person could feel invaded
yeah,
by that,
yeah,
So it is a very delicate blend. Most of the empaths I run into are very sensitive and aware of other people. They're frustrated because they don't see others taking responsibility or helping themselves, or they see the craze in front of them, but they can't change it and they're feeling it. So
yeah,
they're like, so they'll seclude away, they'll step away, and not thinking, not going to, maybe I need to change how I step into this situation. What am I doing that's uncomfortable for me, and how can I allow that person to be here in all the magnitude of who they are,
right.
and why am I triggered by that? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
Why am I feeling this way? And there's a lot more to that,
yeah,
and that's what I teach, and that's how
yeah.
I
And I totally agree with that. And it also brings it back to slowing down enough to not to be aware of what you're feeling in the moment and what triggers are happening for you or what reactions.
yeah.
So yeah, that's beautiful. So what do you feel are some of the gifts that come from mastering the moment, living in the moment, being present? Just
Wow. Hmm. Some of the gifts from being in that moment is that you're in a calm place. Things are calm. There are no problems in that moment. There's nothing to be afraid of in that moment. If you can be in those moments. So the moments come one after another, after another, after another. So the benefit of being in the moment is that it's almost like a walking meditation.
yeah.
And that, my friend, takes time to tweak and to embody. That walking meditation is you connected to your soul, who's not frantic, who's not crazy, who's not overwhelmed,
Yeah,
who doesn't see any problem with somebody in front of them
yeah,
that, for whatever reason, is triggering you.
yeah.
You know, for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Like the woman who got triggered by the word empath.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, if she was not reacting, she would be in the moment. Then what kind of conversation would you have had?
yeah.
It'd be totally different. Yeah, yeah.
It's a big ask for us to do that all the time. It's a big ask.
It is.
um it is something that, it is a skill, and the more you do it, the more value you see in it, the
Yeah,
more you want it. And if you actually, so when you talk about vibrations and what we're holding and what we're clearing heavier, denser vibrations,
yeah,
like anger, jealousy, manipulation, insecurity. We're clearing those, and we're being gifted strength, integrity, joy. That's the model of where we need to be.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that feels good. It's very, very sweet what you said to name those qualities because it is work. It is. I remember the first time I heard it as a concept at first. Living in the moment, what the heck could that mean? And then I tried it on for a while, meaning that to see if I could do it. And what does it mean to my physiology and my thinking patterns in my day and all of that? What does it mean? And I remember when it was a couple of years after I learned this concept that I was living in Hawaii and I was driving around town in my car and I stopped at a stoplight and I was literally screaming at God, what does this mean? And I'm hitting my steering wheel. I'm like, this is the most frustrating thing. But something kept driving me toward it. Funny, I
Wait,
used the word.
I missed part of this. What was happening that you got frustrated?
I was trying to live to be in the moment, just be in the moment
Okay.
and connecting. How could this possibly fit in my world? And what I found was I was just completely frustrated about it. But then behind that was something driving me to keep going for it. It was very strong. And so from that day, things got better because I let myself be in the moment of a total frustration that I really wanted to do this and tap into what is this thing called mastering the moment, being present, living in the moment. What would it feel like? What would what would it do in my life?
So you're bringing up an idea. Okay, something came to mind as you're
Okay,
talking.
let's see.
Well, because sometimes living in a moment means I'm frustrated. In this
Yeah,
very moment, I'm frustrated,
absolutely.
tired, I'm cranky, I'm hungry. I have this, and that's being, there's an emotion that comes with it. So when we talk about being in the moment, we all, if you're in the moment, there are no problems. There's no that, but those
No,
moments,
that's not true.
oh, it's
I think that's a misconception.
okay.
That's why I think people find it so difficult because they think that. And it's true, they do. I thought that too. That means everything's going to be calm and sweet, and like you described earlier. But what's true about it is that it's just true. The moment is truth. And in this moment, like when I lived in Ashland, Oregon, and I noticed that every time people said, how are you doing? And I could see that they were not doing well. Oh, I'm fine. So I would say to them, I know you're fine overall. I got it. You're the picture of perfection. In this moment, though, you're not fine, and I can see it. So, would you like to share? I'll be happy to listen. And that was one of the things that I learned to kind of bridge the gap. So, as I did that for other people, then I did that for me. And the practice of mastering the moment became, really a practice like in every moment. Well, what could be here other than my reactions and my thoughts about this moment? One of the things my teacher says is that we're not really living, we're just existing. And that also pissed me off. I was like, what the heck does that mean? And then I just let it settle in my being. And I went, oh my God, that's so true. We're not even taking in all of the experiences that we're having in life, and we're having a lot of experience. Like this whole last year, 2020 was like so
Are
messed
you
up.
serious? Are you serious? Now what? Now this? Yeah.
It was so out of the norm and so stretching every single person in multiple ways. And yet I found the most peace in my life because the rest of the world kind of slowed down. And as an empath myself, I stopped having to feel everybody's feelings and I just started feeling my own. And I was like, wow. And when somebody asked me how was I doing, I was like, well, I'm kind of hanging in there right now, or not doing so well because I'm feeling so much and it's all connected to my own stuff. But um it was powerful. and I got more deeply present in the moment. And, I think this is a little bit, and I wonder, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you feel like people that are being authentic are actually people that are living in the moment? Does that correlate for you?
Well, the definition of someone living in the moment is someone that isn't projecting out and forward in front of them and isn't living in the past and back of them, but is living right here, right now. Emotions, thoughts, circumstances, whatever it is, right here.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're looking at the past, you're you're living there. If you're looking at the forward, you're worrying and so living right here. So your question was, is living in the moment.
Does it have a bridge to being authentic?
Well, I just did like a whole huge study and introspection on authenticity. So that's interesting that you asked me.
That must be why I picked it up.
Authentic, yes, someone living in the moment is authentic, but let me go into authenticity. Authentic is the person that gives themselves permission to feel, think, act, speak without concern or worry for what others are going to believe. You're being
Okay.
authentic, you're answering it. But there's a certain fine tuning. When you're authentic, typically a truly authentic person has a lot of integrity comes with that. It's like married with integrity, authenticity. Because
Uh-huh.
a lot of people say, a liar is definitely not authentic. And I know I can feel that you're manipulating, you're not being authentic. So people kind of put authenticity with truth, right?
Okay.
Whose truth is it, right? Yours or mine or
Right.
ours, So I think as an authentic person, I can only step forward and be authentic to the point that I am aware of myself.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
can only be present to the moment that I'm aware of
Yeah.
myself and
Yeah.
not lost in the shuffle of what's here.
Uh-huh.
So I think authenticity is a great place to be. I think it's a place we all need to strive to step into and speak it. I know some people really have a hard time speaking their truth or saying no to something. They say yes when they mean no. They're not yet there where they're comfortable being authentic in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
So they haven't found that safe place within them, that safe inner strength
Yeah.
of who they are.
Yeah.
So there has to be a little give and take with what it means and how it shows up, and
Yeah.
where we all are, excuse me, moving towards becoming more of who we truly are. So
Yeah.
authentic. Okay, so 5 years ago I thought I was A, B, C, and D. Today the authentic version of me has grown, shifted, changed, is quite aware of her shadows. The shadows come up still. And though it's not, it's part of how Michele delivers Michele, but it's not, it's in process. Michele is becoming more of Michele
Yeah.
every day. So
Yeah.
all of the other things. So Michele values love, relationships, harmony. Those are the things in the meantime, there's another side that people see, very ambitious, successful, mothering, all these other things, which are all parts of me, but authentic to me, in which only my inner circle would know. Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the key things. This is really who
Wow.
I am.
That's really great. Thank you for that distinction. That's really, really good. I think that might help a lot of people see the difference where they are. I love making distinctions with words. That's awesome that you've just done this study so we could get firsthand.
Well, and what people see, what people perceive, and then what is truth for
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
And everybody does it. They put on a certain image or certain look that's going to keep them nice and safe and whatever. And they can switch it up depending on who they're with or
Yeah.
what's around them, right?
You're
But
right.
at the end of the day, if that outside look, that outside person that you portray is not really you, you're going to be split, you're going to feel disjointed, you're going to feel people are really going to know you, and it's going to be tiring to carry all of this. So
Yeah.
the more we can come full circle, fully integrated within ourselves, the more authentic we can be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so do you feel like that is mastering the moment in a way, or is part of being authentic being in the moment?
it will come with being in the moment.
Yeah, it will
Being
come.
in the moment to me is a practice, it's a goal, it's about living without looking back or looking forward too much. You're in those moments. Authenticity comes when you fine tune who you are in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really great. Thank you. That's wonderful.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, so is there anything else that you'd like to say to encapsulate, what we've been talking about in living in the moment and being present?
I would just say that the outside is beautiful, right? Well, certain parts of the outside are beautiful. Like the outside is the outside. I like to focus on the things that are beautiful outside. You know, we all, beauty is a beautiful thing. Bring it into your world, right?
Right.
Create beauty on the inside. Feel that beauty. Feel. It's a vibration. It's a sense, feeling. When you can replenish and feel into your moments and bring, whatever the moment brings is fine. But if you want to change your experiences within that moment, fine tune your skills with feeling.
Mm,
And because we are creator beings,
yeah.
we can shift ourselves very easily, slow down our nervous system very easily with the intention and the wherewithal to shift feelings. How do you slow down? How
Yeah.
do you step in the moment? How
Yeah.
do you? It's like an intentional slowing.
Yeah, like you said, a practice. It's intentional. Yeah. It's what drives you. It's what for me gives me loads and loads of blessings every day. Just
You start like it almost like a fine wine. You start really appreciating what is there, not what you want to be there.
yes.
What is here? And look at, because we can take things for granted. We can take lots of things for granted. We take for
Absolutely.
granted that we're going to get up in the morning and be able to brush our teeth and do this and do that. You know, those are blessings. And just the idea, the blessings part brought on this whole vision of, I broke my ankle, needed to have screws and a plate. I was on the couch, foot up for 8 weeks one summer. And in those moments, everything I appreciated. I was like, how did I not know how wonderful and how intricate and how complex and how important an ankle is in someone's life? How did I
Oh,
miss that? How did I take for granted that I could do that every day? And there are people that cannot, and
right.
I could not. So it was eye opening for me
Yeah.
how many things, because we can do them, we think they're there, no big deal.
No
Wait
big
till it's
deal.
taken away from you. And this can be brought into any aspect of our life, our country, the world.
Right.
We don't recognize how good we have it, or we take certain things for granted,
Yeah.
or we could focus on what's not right, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, holy geez, this is all really, really, really good. Like, this is good that I could do this. This is good that I could do that. This is good. So it brings an energy with it it brings like a quality to, I don't know, it's like someone, here comes another idea. Someone decorating their house or decorating a room. The attention you place on what you're putting there is all, it's your space, almost like your house, your car, your body. It's your space.
Right.
Make it beautiful.
Right.
Make it feel good,
Y-
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Comes right back to the feeling, and appreciate what it takes,
Yeah.
and everything.
All, all the things that it takes to get there, to get to that one moment when you're actually appreciating everything. When I fell off of a cliff, I had over 22 broken bones. And I didn't worry about it being fixed. I knew it was going to be fixed. I didn't need to have anybody tell me how it was going to be fixed because I just knew it was going to be fixed. And so I did the same thing. I just went in and I loved on my body and all the different parts and pieces. And that's where I learned how to self heal myself.
Yeah.
That God was right there with me, showing me, like pointing me, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at that. And the perfection of what it is.
Actually,
How it,
there's perfection in everything because it moves you to recognize, appreciate, be grateful for.
yeah.
Like, and it's, see, somebody else with that same experience, Shayna, might have looked at it and been very upset,
Oh,
very
totally.
worried,
Yeah.
like totally, I want to say schizo, totally losing their footing, losing their sense of control in life. Like it's a testament to you that you handled it that well.
Well, it actually handled me. I didn't think it. It happened and I paid attention. I surrendered to it and then I paid attention and it taught me. I was so curious that it taught me. And it's like what you're saying, your ankle taught you how to be that aware of the importance of every little aspect of the ankle and all the way the bones and the muscles and the ligaments work around it and the energy that goes through it and the messages from the brain that make it move so much. There's so and that and so much more. How the rest of the body works with it, the toes and the heel.
Well, yeah, and if you look at all of life, every experience that we have is teaching us something. I mean, and
Absolutely.
I can't say that there's a bad thing or a good thing. It's teaching us something. It depends on what we want to spotlight,
Yeah.
what we take out of it.
Yeah.
Because it could shape us in a positive manner or it could shape us in a negative manner. We're kicking and screaming, we're kicking, we're upset, we're this, blah, blah, blah. Hello.
Right.
Like, where are we
Yeah.
going with that? Right.
And that's all when there's thoughts involved, you can go any way. But when you're in the moment, it just is what it is. And I love that phrase that started happening. I can't tell you exactly when, but maybe 8, 10, 12 years ago. It is what it is. I think that came about from people that were practicing the moment and giving themselves a claiming, in language this is just what it is right now. And so maybe people around them were trying to name their experience as a different way or and so the boundary it gave them a boundary to say but it's just what it is right now and I see it and I'm hearing it and I'm okay.
It takes you out of the head, puts you into the body,
Yeah.
and you calm down.
Yeah.
Because the head's spinning to find some rhyme or reason for what something is. The
Yeah.
head has no answers really. It's a computer.
Process. Yeah.
It's a logical task making computer.
Right.
The actual answers and the actual peace comes when you shut down the computer and it's not burning out and fizzing and static all over the place and everything else that um that we do. I mean, I think that an understatement of the heart in our society and an
Absolutely.
overstatement of the mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you do remember when the internet was just beginning in the 90s? Were you
I was around
I know you were around, but were you participating in
in
it?
in the
It,
internet.
yeah, at
Yeah.
that time. So there was a thing going, the buzz I kept hearing around me was we're in the information age.
Mm.
We're in, do you recall
I
that?
remember that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we're in the, it's all about information, all about information. And as the internet got bigger and wider and, more inclusive and didn't matter who shared, it was like, wow, we're just inundated with information, which gave the mind so much satisfaction. The mind
Right.
just ate it up and loved it. And then around 2000, it was kind of like, but where did our heart go? I'm so glad you brought this up. Where did our heart go? Our heart has, and then it was proven our heart has intelligence. Our heart has brain cells. And how delicious is that? So we went to, let's match the two. Not everyone, but I did, and a lot of my friends, we were very curious about, well, what does this mean? How does this work? And it was awesome to experiment with it and to realize when you're in the moment, you literally can just be in your heart, and your heart will speak, and it will speak beauty exactly the way you want to live. It'll speak that. Because if you don't want to speak beauty, that's fine. You don't have to. You and I agree. I like to speak beauty. I like beauty around me. I like, to look as beautiful as I possibly can. And what a joy it is to me to have that around me. But I don't mind if other people speak it different. Not at all. It's their expression. I enjoy that. So, yeah, I really really appreciate you bringing that up. The
Yeah,
heart.
everybody has a unique flavor of who they are. They
Yeah,
bring to the table their gifts, their humor, their sarcasm, their just a feeling of who that person is. And it's either a nice neutral little person that can have a conversation with you. It could be an uplifting person, or it could be somebody who brings everything down. So that awareness is, you know, it's not a judgment, it's just an observation that that's there. As long as you can keep your vibe
that's right.
yours,
Yep,
then you're all good. And that does take a certain skill to get there,
it does.
especially if you're very sensitive and you want to help other people and you want to tune into what's here. Not all circles and not all gatherings are uplifting, not all people are uplifting.
Right.
So there's an awareness that needs to be birthed.
That's right.
So
And the practice. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. A lot of information. Thank you so much. And that's exactly why I'm doing these. I want people to have some freedom, more freedom in their day where they can just see the contrast of how you speak it, how I speak it, and how they can move. So I will close this down now and let you know that I will put in your website so people can contact you. I'll put this out probably in 2 weeks, and I will. You can share it wherever you want, if you want.
Awesome.
You
Awesome.
can use it however you want that supports you and your work, so that people see you more.
Reach. We need to reach
That's
more
right.
of an audience. Um, empathevolution.com is the website in case you don't see it anywhere else.
I'll put it in the description. Yeah, yeah,
Sounds great. Sounds
yeah. So Michele, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate your time and all your beautiful wisdom, and Energy. This energy is beautiful.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Sheena.
You're welcome, sweetheart.